This is the Frank and Friends show. Hi there, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Becca James, the girl with two first names.
Well,
thanks for inviting me back.
I am excited that you're back. Secret behind the scenes is a lot of times when Catherine Frady is here, and it appears that she comes frequently, we'll knock out 2 episodes in one sitting. You know, we'll change shirts and go and do another show. Because
movie magic.
But you actually came back.
I did. I actually came back because I have a day job that I have to get to.
Right, like when Frady's here for the second episode, she's like, "Oh, I guess I'm stuck." But you willingly.
Are you telling me that she's being held hostage?
Kind of. What I'm saying is that you willingly came back. And
all right,
that is impressive.
Catherine, next time you're on camera and you need us to save, you just start like blinking emphatically, and we'll help. Or maybe just don't come back.
Well, I like it because not only has the subscriber count gone up last time Catherine was here, but it also went up last time you were here.
Oh.
So that's good news.
Thank you.
So please do subscribe on YouTube. Smash that bell
like
for
button.
the like button. The thumbs up helps us. I've been watching so many YouTube videos.
Here's a little social media secret.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Likes are great, but if you use any of the other emoticons, that actually allows it to be seen more. So instead of just likes, do the little heart button or the little care button
on Facebook or
on Facebook. So instead of the like, hit the heart, or the angry or the sad, whatever you're feeling from the episode that you watch.
I should show you some of the rejected pictures from last week's episode. The rejected screen grabs, that'd be a whole show. But also on YouTube, I think the only choice is thumbs up, thumbs down.
Correct. YouTube, it's only thumbs up, thumbs down. Instagram, it's just the heart. Same thing on Twitter. We
usually get some thumbs up. Very rarely do I get a thumbs down. And and usually it's so outnumbered by the thumbs up that I'm okay with it.
If you do give us a thumbs down, please tell us why.
Yeah.
Let us learn.
Explain. What did I do? What did I do to you? It's usually on the Smoky Mountain videos that somebody gets mad because we went to someplace they had a bad experience. On the podcast, no one is going to take the effort to watch it, dislike it, and then tell us they disliked it.
Fair enough.
Well, it's Easter. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
And of course, I'll be remiss if I don't acknowledge that in my religious beliefs, Easter is an 8-day celebration. Mm-hmm. It's like one day equals 8 days. One church day is 8 days on the human calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we have all the
all the things, which you have all these beautiful platters out, yet you're not actually serving me anything, Frank.
Well, this is getting ready. See, the 2 spots in the middle is where the salt and pepper shakers go, and I think they are rabbit shaped.
Aww,
I think there's 2 bunnies that go there with the salt and the pepper coming out of their heads, and then of course the deviled eggs would go, or even the hard-boiled eggs. What Jerry will do is she'll put the hard-boiled Easter eggs around there. And I was reading about some people don't want to waste their eggs this year because they're too expensive. And I thought, what do you mean waste? We eat them all.
Yeah, I mean, I keep hard-boiled eggs in my fridge year-round. My kids have gone through this phase where they didn't like eggs, and then the moment they skyrocketed, that's when they discovered they liked eggs again.
Mm.
Yeah, super fun.
I understand that because my daughter has got a big family, so she buys. I went to the grocery store with her, and she buys 2 gallons of milk at once. And I mean, how do you even...
She's got way more kids than we do,
right.
But like my kids drink whole milk. Yeah. My husband drinks 1% milk. So there are times when I'm buying 2 gallons out, 2 gallons at a time. Okay, so side note, my cast came off, obviously, and they have replaced it with this little thumb splint, which I don't feel is appropriately safe because they showed me the x-ray. I still have 1 bone break that hasn't healed all the way.
Can you do magic tricks with that one?
Like the...
So I don't make it light up or something?
No, I can't. But clearly I can just bang it on something and it doesn't hurt that bad. But it's basically to stabilize it. But as klutzy as I can be, I feel like maybe they should have given me better protection. So we'll see.
Well, I'll tell you, I know we talked about milk and stuff, but that's interesting. But I'm more interested in your thumb because now I'm reminded of there's magic tricks you can buy.
Okay.
And I was a little disheartened when I learned this trick. So kids, maybe don't listen to this part. But
spoiler alert.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake fingertips involved in magic acts, and there's some you can have that light up, and you can pretend to be throwing lights and catching lights, and it's a little fingertip with a light bulb in it and a battery inside, and depends on how you manipulate it, of course. It doesn't look like magic unless you...
Well, a lot of it's the showmanship of it.
The prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
That seems like too big of a word to attempt without messing up.
It's good stuff. And then there's another one. I did a trick somewhere where you make a scarf. It's a tiny little silk. You can make it appear or disappear because it fits in the fake thumb.
Oh,
and then the trick is
so what you're saying is basically it's some kind of apparatus like this where you stuff it and then pull it out.
And you palm it in one hand, and then you take and you do all of this. And meanwhile, you stick your thumb here. You put the thumb in, and you show, or vice versa. You show nothing, then you do this. You remove, and you go. Let me pull it out of my hand. That's good stuff.
It's a fun party trick.
I watch those magicians. I think I told you this. Siegfried and Joy. Did I tell you about Siegfried and Joy?
Roy?
No, Joy. Siegfried and Joy.
Okay, do tell.
They dress it well. They usually wear these coats, these tiger print coats.
Okay, I like it. I like tiger print.
And they go around Germany and other places.
Yeah.
And they have this Celine Dion song called something like "When You Come Back to Me" or "When You Return" or something like that. You know this one?
It's All Coming Back to Me.
That's it. What's the name of it?
It's All Coming Back to Me.
I know, but that's the name of the song.
I'm pretty sure that is the name of the song. I don't have my phone near me where I Google it, but...
I thought you were saying you're starting to remember the name of the song. Well, anyway, so it's baby, 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 and ba-da-ba-da-da-da. It's her cheesiest. It's so cheesy. It
is not cheesy. It's
the part they
gorgeous ballad.
The part they play.
It's so emotive. You feel things when Celine sings.
Well, I laugh hilariously because these magicians time it so that they stand somewhere and they shake the cloth.
Okay.
Like maybe let's say there's a car at the intersection, or there's a merchant in the shop window, or any number of things.
Okay.
And one of them will go and he'll hold up the thing and it goes, baby, baby. And then he throws it up and he runs out of the way and the other one takes his place. But we're seeing it from the back.
Oh.
We're seeing them do it, and we watch the people in the window go like, what just happened? And then the camera invariably turns and shows the other one crawling away on his hands and knees.
Oh, so it is like a behind-the-scenes view of them doing the...
Right.
Okay.
So then the other day they posted like 10 different videos of fans trying the trick at home or at their jobs. And it cracked me up the one was a Germany, like a bank teller. Some customer comes to her desk and she's not a teller, but
the banking person. She's the one who did it, not the customer.
We used to call it the platform when I worked in banks. Not that you have the tellers over there.
You used to work in banks? Okay, that's
and then
another
the platform is where the managers would be. Okay. So this customer comes and sits at her desk.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she stands up and she goes, baby, baby, baby. And then she ducks down under the desk and just hides. And when she drops the curtain. I mean, it's so dumb.
That's one way to get out of work.
It's so dumb, and I love it so much.
No, I think I saw something like that on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. No, it was just like a social media craze a couple of years ago, but people were doing it to their dogs, where they were holding up towels or blankets or something and shaking at them and then just disappearing under it to get the dog's reaction. And those were really cute.
Because does the dog understand the permanence of objects? Like, this is the thing you do with your babies, right? At some point, don't you? At some point, you play peekaboo with the baby to get them to...
but when you're playing peekaboo, you're literally like, peekaboo. Right, but you don't physically go anywhere. But yes, they have to go through that stage where they learn about object permanence.
Yeah.
But it was cute because some of the dogs would literally, they do that thing where they cock their heads like,
yes.
And they get super confused, and it was really cute. Or some of them would whine a little bit, and then you get some that were just like go straight to their owner, like, nah, I got a good sense of smell. Still, I know where you are.
It cracks me up when people do that. They get that confused dog look.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have a dog currently. Or
no, he passed.
But he was like 100.
What's 15 times 7?
Alexa, what's 15 times 7?
15 times 7 is 105.
Okay, so it was like 105.
And then you have to count
I could edit that and make it seem like I just did the math really fast in my head.
No, I think it's better to keep Alexa in there. Give credit where credit's due, okay, Frank?
But I haven't we had a dog when I was in high school. And I guess she lived a while after that. My mother never told me when the dog died. I found out a year or two later.
Wait, but how did you not notice, Frank?
I think I had moved to California by then.
So you were already an adult at this point.
Well, we got the dog when I was a freshman in high school, and she lived a while. I think she lived a long time. I don't even know.
Gotcha, but you had moved out of the house before the dog passed.
But the point is, I don't know when she died.
I need to move this. I've hit my thumb twice.
Oh, sorry. I don't know when the dog died. Her name is Pandora.
You're just moving it right back.
I'm trying to center it on the shot.
I will just try to keep my hand right here.
It has to be centered on the shot. Here, I'll just put it over here. There goes the continuity for this episode.
I'm a danger to myself, Frank.
Well, what I'm saying is that on the last episode, for the thumbnail, pardon the expression, I used two pictures, one of you and one of me, and I stuck them together in Photoshop.
Oh, I did not recognize that as Photoshop. So good job. Yay! You have leveled up to master.
There's really nothing to it. It's just literally a collage. There's a line down the center. If you look closely, there's a line down the center.
Yeah, but when you're scrolling on social media, it's like you're not going to be like, what? I think maybe.
The only thing I did was when I put the name of the episode, I moved it a little off center so that one of the letters covered the line better.
Oh.
So, anyhow, I'm worried about animals because next door neighbor has a cat.
Okay.
Named Louie, and Louie. I've talked about Louie before.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. How I have cared for Louie. I've been a cat taker once in a while. You know, I'll go over there and feed the cat when Nancy is going to be out of town for a day or two.
That's nice of you.
Well, so either the cat loves me or hates me. I think the cat has turned on me. Jerry thinks it's the opposite. Jerry thinks that Louie loves me so much that he can't bear to see me leave. Because I was looking at figs, walking around the garden, doing a little bit of work.
Okay.
And Louie comes over. I guess they live on that side of the house. I was on that side of the house. So Louie comes all the way over to my side of the other, my house. And
Sorry.
I'm looking at the fig trees. I'm messing with them. There's some borer beetle I'm worried about now. I'm panicked about some pestilence.
Something's going after your figs.
Yes. So I'm worried about this. I'm trying to kill them or knock them down. I don't know what to do.
Google it.
Except, basically it is just cut the tree down.
Aww.
Let it grow back from scratch. There's not a lot you can do with these borer beetles.
Oh.
Just hope you don't get too many. There's a way to break the life cycle of them by putting down some kind of netting or something. Oh. Long story, we'll get into that because Bean hates it when I talk about figs, but it's not about figs. It's about cats. So I'm over there, cat comes over, and he's like, meow, meow. And you go to pet him and he wants to bite me. So I'm like,
but he was like rubbing up on your legs and stuff like cats do.
Yeah, he's clear and meowing loudly, like he wants me to pet him. And sometimes he'll lay down and put his paws up. And if I do that, then he'll grab me and go, with my hand. So everything with this cat is a trap. What do they call it? A thirst trap? Is that what they call it? I don't think so. I think maybe that's the wrong term.
Maybe he's just hungry.
So the cat's rubbing up against the leg. And I'm like, Louie, I'm not going to fall for it this time. I'll give you a little bit of a pat. And I did it far enough back that he couldn't reach me with his mouth right away. Okay. I said, okay, Louie, see you later. Go away. And I turned to come in the house. And I'm not looking. That was my mistake. I turn away and I'm not looking. The next thing I know, I hear, ah! And that might have been a little loud. And he is on my leg. It's like a toddler going, please don't go, except that he's clawing me and biting me. And to
some toddlers do that too.
To the point where I like, ow, Louie, and it stops. And I made a noise at him. I just, probably like, Baba, whatever I would say. And I go inside and I start feeling this warm, actually I didn't even make it inside. I just started feeling the blood on my leg. And I pulled up my pant leg and it was pretty bloody. It's pretty bloody.
Wow. I mean, there's only been a brief time in my life that I've ever lived with cats, and from my understanding is the love-hate thing, that's natural.
Oh, okay.
Unless you count my kids currently because they like to just walk around the house knocking stuff off counters and wherever they find it, which I feel is very cat-like. But yeah, I'm a little stumped on that one.
Well, I thought about this, and the best analogy I can come up with is Batman and Catwoman. Because Batman never seems to learn the lesson that Catwoman wants to kill him because, she'll seduce him kind of and then try to kill him and then try to, it's back and forth with Catwoman. You can't tell where you are. At what point in the episode, is this where she wants to marry Batman or kill Batman?
So Catwoman is bipolar, and possibly so is Louie, the cat.
All right, well, that answers that possibility. Let's talk about Dr. Bill Bass and bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. I forgot to unlock the treasure trove.
The vault of merch.
Of Dr. Bass merchandise. I got all this Frank and Friends merch, too. But I think I pointed out on the last episode that they do have a deal going on autographed Sam Venable books. Mm-hmm. So if you're a big fan of Sam Venable, you've got these fabulous titles, and these are just the 4 that I grabbed. But you can get those signed by Sam Venable through Bone Zones and have them personalized or whatever it is you want. Of course, there's also, speaking of books, that's really how the whole thing started, is John Jefferson and Dr. Bill Bass wrote the nonfiction book called Death's Acre, which is Dr. Bass's life story and the origins of the body farm. And when I had to give the speech to the detectives, I did talk kind of about the origins of Dr. Bass. You might find
you gave the overview.
And then they started doing fiction books, beginning with Carved in Bone. Did
they take their inspiration from the TV show Bones, which is actually based off of a book series?
I am not sure, because I think this might have been I'm not sure what year Bones came out. Uh-huh. But there is a blurb, I think, on one of these books. Kathy Reichs does a blurb.
Yeah, because she's the author of the books.
Of the Bones books, yeah. So, and there is a Bones TV episode where it's set at a body farm, but it's very unrealistic. I watched it, and we just, the body explodes as soon as they walk past.
Yes, I vaguely remember that one, because I used to watch that show religiously.
I loved that show, but when I started learning about forensics, I loved it less.
Don't take away the magic. Okay.
So
ignorance is bliss.
There's the new long sleeve Body Farm T-shirt, which I guess would be appropriate for Dogwood Winter. And
is that the one we're starting in today?
I hope so.
Or this weekend?
I just want to move it on. It's whatever's currently blooming is that's all it is.
Yeah, because it's the dogwoods.
So you get a cold snap, like the redbuds bloom, and it's 80 degrees, the redbuds bloom, and then it's 30 degrees, hence redbud winter. And then it's 80 degrees, the dogwoods bloom, and then it gets cold again.
I never realized the correlation between
what's blooming
and what the type of winter it was.
Yeah, so we still have blackberry winter to come, and blackberries have not started blooming yet.
No.
So, that's in the hat, beautiful hat.
Yes.
So some of them are selling out. Some of these items are low inventory. So
don't wait, go get them.
Yeah, get your orders in at bonezones.com. Don't forget the S and have them personalized or whatever you like. Okay. I know you were going to tell me.
So have I told you? Sorry.
Yeah.
My kids started T-ball.
Now this is, we all know what T-ball is. This is like a plastic tube, and they put the softball on, or not even.
Yeah, the baseball.
It's an actual baseball?
Yes.
On there, and the kid doesn't have to be pitched to, but there's a player in the pitcher position to catch the ball.
We haven't gotten that far yet. We're still in practices, but I think maybe that's where it's supposed to be.
Well, my recollection from my grandsons is that they put the players on the field, and the person who's on the pitcher's mound just stands there. In case the ball is hit toward them, they can field it.
I feel like all the kids will want to be there, because what I've seen in practice is basically a massive dog pile anytime the ball gets hit.
They took too much soccer lessons, probably.
I know, but it's the cutest thing. This was to me like the epitome of parenting. When I found out I was having boys, I was like, T-ball. Because
you play softball.
I do. I play. That's how I hurt myself. And my husband plays baseball, and they have a Houston Astros themed baseball room. We had a baby shower at a sports bar.
Houston Astros?
Don't make that face. They are the reigning champions, my friend.
I was born and raised a New York Mets fan, so I have no room.
And I'm not holding that against you.
So I have no room to talk. I understand that.
But anyways, this is the phase that I'm like, I can't wait for this. And I have twins, but they're very much their own little boys. And just the personalities of the two of them. I have one like serious business. Like, okay. I mean, he's got the hat on, he's got the glove on, he's like, let's go. And he's always in that dog pile. And then you have the other one that may or may not even be facing the batter at the time. At one point, he instituted a riot where he started like digging in the dirt, which is, you don't do it.
So when you say he's in left field, you could mean physically or mentally.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, and it's adorable, but it's also like, pay attention. Or, if they're practicing certain drills, he's off doing. Yeah. So I basically, my husband's an assistant coach So my husband's doing whatever he's doing, and I'm basically just running around behind Brady, just trying to herd him back to the group because
and yes,
he's
she
just
did. She did name
whatever.
her kid after Tom Brady.
No, we didn't.
I totally did.
You know what? Fine. If you want to believe that, go for it. I'm not even gonna fight it. Not gonna.
She totally named her kids after the Brady Bunch on TV.
Surprisingly, my dad, who is from Boston, that's what he thought of first when we told him the boys' names. And he was like, oh, Brady Bunch? And I'm like, oh, you didn't accuse us of naming him after Tom Brady? Because everybody thought that. My husband, who is not a Patriots fan, was the one who chose that name. So,
okay, all right.
And I wasn't going to fight it because I like the name.
It's a good name.
So if it hadn't been Brady, it would have been Cameron.
Okay.
But my husband was like, no, 3 syllables. That's too hard to put on the back of a baseball jersey.
Oh, genius. I also feel like there's been a lot of Camerons lately and not a lot of Bradys.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've met a few Camerons lately.
I think that's good.
And then at the time, so my other son is named Carter, and at the time, I didn't hear that very often. But
you
now
named him after Jay-Z. No?
No.
You named him
actually, do you...
After Jimmy Carter.
No, but there is actually somebody or a character we got the name from.
Okay.
Think Sci-Fi Channel.
Doctor Who. I don't know.
Okay, so there was a show called Eureka.
I don't know this one.
It's a fantastic show. It's very scientific.
Okay, and there's a Carter on there.
There's Sheriff Carter, so it was his last name, but we love the name. And we started watching the show early on in our marriage. So we're talking probably a decade before we had kids.
Oh, all right.
And we're like, Carter, that's such a great name. We really like that. And we kept it, and then obviously...
And it's 2 syllables, and it fits on the back of a baseball jersey.
It absolutely does. Yeah. So, and Carter Brady, my husband didn't want, if it has to go to last name, one can be C. James, one can be B. James.
Okay.
So, my husband was very strategic about that, and I was like, okay, fine.
What's funny is when they get to school, if you were to reverse their names as they would be on the roster, it's going to be Jimmy Carter.
No, what's really awful is everybody thinks James is a first name.
And James Brady. James Brady, of course, was the press secretary of Ronald Reagan who got shot, and James Carter is the president before Reagan.
Well, so the irony of it is, my slogan is the girl with 2 first names, and I basically have 2 sons with 2 first names.
I think you gave them last names for first names, is what I think you did.
It kind of sounds like it, but you know what? It's,
it's
and I'm not digging at these names, but it's not, an Ashton, the tin names. I feel like those are really popular right now, and they're really pretty, but... I feel like that'll separate them a little bit when they're roll call.
I read something about I guess it's every 100 years names come back because parents don't want to name their kids maybe something from their own generation. Like we had so many Jennifers. And
mine's Rebecca, and there's a ton of us.
Right. And then those fade out for a while because there's so many. We all go through that experience in school where the teacher says Jennifer, Rebecca, whatever, and you all go, which one? I mean, there were only 2 Franks in my class, but I would say, which one? And the teacher would get mad at me because he thought I wasn't paying attention. He thought he meant, which math problem am I supposed to, or what am I supposed to answer? He thought, no, I can answer all the questions. That's not the hard part. The hard part is knowing, we had, it was 2 kids with my last name, me and another, and 2 kids with my first name, me and another.
Oh, wow.
So no matter who we called on, I'm like, who?
They'd have to say the entire name for y'all to know who.
But he wouldn't, yeah, so it was...
It's the teacher's fault.
I know, I'm saying.
Blame it on them.
But
poor teachers.
I think that's why, my daughter and her husband chose family names, but they're not, you go back a generation or 2 maybe, and find ones that are not currently in vogue, and that way, they're classic, yet they're not overly common.
But they're new-ish.
Yeah, they're not common.
You're not at a family reunion and you say Anthony and 3 people turn around.
Anthony, it's Prince Spaghetti
my
Day.
My dad is Italian, and so the Italian names there's a lot of them.
Well, isn't that in that's when I grew up.
And there are a lot of juniors in his family too. So that
from
really,
Boston, right?
Yeah.
So hey, little Italy.
Yeah, exactly. We talk like this with our hands. Do you know how hard it's been without one hand for the last 5 weeks?
You're like the Nicolas Cage. She took my hand. What was it? I lost my hand. All right, movie quotes for $200. I have to tell you a quick story about the East Tennessee Writers Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah, are you getting in at all?
I'm already in.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Kudos to you.
I got it. I slid in under the wire on the social media category, and they since raised the bar, made it, I think, more difficult to get in. But I'm in.
Okay, well, hey, still, congrats.
And they ask me frequently to MC the event.
That's fun.
And it's hard to say no because...
You're a member.
I know.
You really can't say no.
I know. So I made it so that the Frank and Friends show was the media sponsor for the thing, and we got nice publicity, and the subscriber count went up, and yay.
Yeah, nice.
Well, at the event, this year's social media honoree was Steve Wildsmith, who used to write for the Daily Times.
Okay.
Now he does marketing and social media and all the things for Maryville College.
Okay.
In fact, he just got a promotion down there. I think he's going to be
Congrats.
in charge of the student newspaper maybe and other things. Because somebody retired and but he's been around and he's got a fascinating story because he'll tell you, I think he's been a recovering heroin addict for 30 years, but he is an advocate for recovery, and
well, it is possible.
Yeah, and cleaning yourself up, and he's been a wonderful voice for that, and he's been active at Cornerstone of Recovery. I think he may have worked there for a little while as doing their media or marketing. Well, anyway, he's getting inducted into the ceremony.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm going to read the introduction for him and for all of the inductees, including the late Brandon Gibson, who you and I talked about him when you were here in the fall.
Yeah.
He was inducted into the Hall of Fame as is posthumously in the playwriting category.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because he wrote his libretto for I Can't Breathe, and
Oh, I didn't realize he wrote it though.
He wrote the libretto, and another guy wrote the music. But
okay.
So in other words, he wrote the play, and another guy wrote the notes.
The music.
He was known for writing for Blank magazine, and he was known as a writer.
Okay.
Among others, and a singer.
I guess I just knew him as the opera singer.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't aware.
Yeah, he would regularly write for Blank News. In fact, Rusty Odom was there that night. I didn't recognize who runs Blank News. And last time I saw Rusty, he did not look like a 1960s hippie or 70s hippie, but he came in and he says, "Hey, Frank, good job on the thing. I like the way you didn't make it about yourself, but you got your little zingers in." And I said, "Thank you." And I'm looking at him like, the face looks familiar, but he's got this huge mane of hippie curly hair, and he's wearing like literally 70s hippies clothes. I'm like, he's like, "It's me, Rusty." I'm like, "Oh, Rusty Odom, of course." Also stupid because I try to recognize people.
I really hate it when I'm someplace and I run into somebody and I know they're familiar, but because it's a place I don't normally see them,
yes,
I have trouble placing them, and then I feel like the worst person in the world because I'm bad with names anyway, but then you put that person out of the place I'm used to seeing them, and then I'm like, how do I know you?
Yes.
And then I just feel like I'm the worst person ever.
Well, you work at it. I mean, it takes an effort.
Yeah.
I've got other anecdotes of me trying to remember somebody's name or knowing that I'm going to a place, and I try to think about, well, who might I see, or ask Jerry, "Hey, remember those people, that couple that did the what's their name again?"
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is actually the story of mistaken identity. Oh. So I get up there to read Wildsmith's introduction.
Okay.
And he says, he did this for Maryville College, he did this for the Daily Times, he did this and this and this. And one of the highlights of his career was in the year 2015, when he received a bear hug from none other than Dolly Parton. And the crowd goes, "Oh," and they start clapping for Dolly. And I'm getting one beat, two beat, who mistook him for...
Well played.
Yeah. And then you hear the crowd go, "Oh," Dolly Parton, who mistakenly thought he was the late News Sentinel columnist Terry Morrow.
Oh.
And let me show you a picture now of Terry Morrow with Dolly Parton and Steve Wildsmith, and you can understand why Dolly would have made that mistake.
Okay.
The only odd factor is that if Steve Wildsmith's recollection is correct, Dolly misidentified him as Terry 2 years after Terry had died.
Oh, goodness.
And Dolly knew Terry died. I mean, she was very well acquainted with Terry. She has made a video tribute to Terry for the News Sentinel. You can find it online. And I think, and we all agreed that Terry Morrow would find that hilarious.
So maybe in her way she was, creating a
Yes.
funny instance for him to be watching.
Yes, because Terry had a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
We used to have him come on the morning show at Star.
Yeah.
Actually, I had him every job I ever had, starting with Phil Williams at 100.3, and then when I was Ashley Adams at 95.7, 93. Oh my gosh, did I forget the what's Merle? Not Merle. What's
B? 97.5?
It's one of those country stations. Duke?
Oh, Duke. Yeah, I think it's 95.7.
Well, anyway, that one, I used to work there, and then at 102.1, I would
You
always...
get around, Frank.
I know, I think I'm on my 5th radio station in Knoxville, right? Yeah, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 6th.
Why do we always get back to math?
I know, it's hard. I mean, Phil...
Alexa.
Maybe the 5th, maybe 5th or 6th, it doesn't matter. I would always invite Terry to come on the show. In fact, I even recorded podcasts with him before podcasts were a thing.
Aw,
because
you were
we always
ahead of
had
your time.
so much more to talk about than
Then time would allow.
Then
Because
time would
radio,
allow.
you're very
yeah.
portioned.
So anyway, he would love that, and he came up with an idea for Dancing with the Knoxville Stars, as did our friend Gretchen.
Yes.
So they both had this idea, and thankfully, I was in a position where I knew both of them and heard them both pitch this idea. Just kind of, oh, we should do this, and then we made it happen.
Yes,
You know,
and
I
I'm
said-
glad you did,
I
because
was like, if I introduce you,
I won the year I participated.
Oh, you did very well.
I'm still very proud of that trophy.
somebody had to introduce Terry and Gretchen and say, hey, you both have this idea. Let's make this real.
Yeah.
Because now I have the
so
power
you were the guy.
of the newspaper and the radio station, and all of a sudden it happens.
That was such a great event, too. And we raised so much money for Children's Hospital. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I edited it out. Well, I was writing a chapter in the book about my bad dancing. I told you about that, right?
No.
Okay. I danced poorly. So I've been researching past things about the dance. I researched the Dancing with the Knoxville Stars, and I researched some other, Nutcracker events. And while I was at it, I just found the totals of how much money was raised for the 5 years that I was involved.
Okay.
And it just keeps going up and up and up.
Oh,
and up.
yeah.
Yeah.
We raised a couple $100,000 my year.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And I think that was very much because we had Kristen Farley, who was a news reporter for WAT at the time, and Mayor Glenn Jacobs before he was mayor.
When he was
Just Kane.
the wrestler.
And side note, Morgan Wallen was also that year, but I don't.
And
but
Leanne Morgan?
Leanne was the judge that year.
Oh, okay.
We had a really good year. But basically you had Glenn Jacobs and Kristen Farley just
Duking it out in the fundraising.
Yeah, and whoo, did they. So I give most of that credit to them.
Yeah. Well, Kristen cracked me up because she got a hold of a Knoxville Catholic High cheerleader outfit. Mm-hmm. And did she do Hey Mickey, You're So Fine?
She did Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
Okay.
So we were neck and neck for the dancing competition. But I ended up winning dance and she ended up winning fundraising. But I think the way it went down is she had somebody like on standby on the phone for right before they closed the donation rounds to make that final push so that she could come ahead.
Well, she didn't invent that idea because there was a woman.
It had been done before in previous seasons.
Yes.
And you know what? It's one of those things where it's like, but all the money goes to children's. So,
it's good.
Sure.
So that's fun. If you want to look any of those up, a lot of that is on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can. I don't know if you can find my dance on YouTube. I think it's been stricken.
Stricken from the
Not by me.
Too awful to put out in public.
It was just deemed offensive.
You know, the irony of that is I work with Kristen Farley and now does media and everything for the current mayor for Mayor Kincannon, and so I work with her somewhat since I work for Knoxville Area Transit, and then Emily, who owned the dance studio that
Emily Norris,
who participated in. Basically, she was one of the professional dancers.
She was my partner.
Was she? And you did win? She's fantastic.
I dragged her down to the level. I said I would only do it if I had the best of all the partners. And the guy who owned the studio before Emily said, okay, well then you get Emily. And I'm like, no, I thought that was my out. I thought if I said,
they weren't going to give you Emily.
I said, if I can only do it, I'm so bad. I said, I can only do it if I have the absolute best of all the professional dancers. And no offense to all the other professional dancers, but they're like, okay, well then you get Emily. And I thought, okay.
Maybe we should say the ones with the most amount of patience.
Oh.
But just to say, so Emily now works for the city also, and I work with her also. So it's just kind of funny how it's like that event is how we met each other, and now we're still working together professionally, even though we've all moved on in different
that's
roles.
fantastic.
So,
that is fantastic.
Yes, small world type situation.
Well, I know you've got to go to your job.
Yeah, I got to get some of that.
You got to drive the bus on what route today?
No, they don't let me drive the bus. They keep threatening. So.
All right. Well, I have to tell you, I got all these other stories about how Jerry broke up with our dentist.
What did your dentist do?
How I got roped into reading at church, and I don't even know what I'm going to do about it.
Reading. You pick a book, you read.
No. It's one of those things where you go up and read, announce, proclaim. But I'm not in the system, so that's another story.
Okay.
So which do you want to hear real quick, the dentist or the...
I kind of want to hear the dentist one.
Right.
I think that might be a little bit more relatable.
All right. So I go and I get my teeth cleaned every 6 months, like we all do.
Like you should.
Well, a bill shows up in the mail. Mm-hmm. Because usually it's $0.00 because it's preventative, right? Should be covered by insurance. We got new insurance.
Yeah.
As I explained with the whole dermatologist thing, we had to go through the new insurance and find a dermatologist.
That's so stressful.
Well,
anyways.
We get a bill from the dentist that we've been going to for 10 years, 20 years. I don't know. The only dentist I've had since we lived here. And I guess 20 years. And it's more than half. I mean, the insurance has only paid maybe a third of it. Now we're on the hook for 2/3 of the bill, so it's over $100. And
for a cleaning?
And I was due for X-rays, and the dentist actually comes every other time.
Yeah, you get the X-rays and the.
And the dentist comes and does an oral exam and checks your mouth for tongue cancer or whatever it is he does. He does a whole thing.
Yeah.
So all of that is on there, but normally that's all covered because it's all preventative.
Are they out of network now?
Bingo.
That happened to me when we were still at the radio stations, but we were bought out and we had new insurance. And I went from a dentist that I absolutely loved to, and it was right around the time that the kids were born too. Then because I had actually made it to my dentist appointment like when the kids were like a month old.
Yeah.
And then I got this bill and I'm like, wait, what? Because of course I don't think to check if it's in network, out of network. I'm dealing with twin newborns and I'm like, yeah, that was unexpected.
So I get the bill. We're out of network, but coincidentally, the bill shows up the day before my wife's 6-month cleaning. So she takes it into with her, and this is just the other day, and pays my bill for me, and has the whole discussion, and they go through the whole rigmarole, and they check and find out that our beloved dentist is out of network, and my wife has an appointment for that day, that minute, really, to go have her teeth cleaned. And she said, "Oh well, I guess I'm canceling my appointment." But on the spot. She broke up with the dentist on the spot.
Hold on, but if you don't give enough notice, don't you get charged anyway?
We'll find out. Don't give them that idea. But no, they were understood because they were in on the process. They're like, okay, here's what we're going to... And
Gotcha.
To me, it felt like Jerry just stormed out of the place. But I think in reality...
I don't really see Jerry doing that. Your wife is pretty nice.
Slams the door behind them,
You are painting her character awfully right now.
It's like if you had a wedding ring for a dentist, you throw it at him. No, I was, I guess, amicable. But she left, and then she comes home, and she gets out the computer.
It was a conscious uncoupling.
And she's going through, is that what they call it?
That's what Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin from Coldplay called it. It's ridiculous. Anyways, sorry.
I heard she lost a half day of skiing when they broke up. Is that true? But anyhow, so she comes home, and as she's looking for a new dentist on the computer, and she's to make an appointment, she still has to get her teeth cleaned.
Yeah.
And then, this to me is the most awkward part. You have to call your ex-dentist.
Oh, to have them transfer the records.
Yeah. Like, hi, remember me?
Wait, your new dentist can't call them for you?
Well, the new dentist, which I guess we have a new dentist. I got an email from a new dentist today saying, please go here to fill out your patient information.
Yeah.
So they just said, here's our email address. Tell the old dentist to send it here. I'm like, oh. And my wife had to make a crack.
As you said, they understood.
My wife made a crack that my file is much bigger than hers.
Oh.
Because I've had more work done. Look, the way I look at it is, it'll be easy to identify my skeletal remains, because...
Oh, yeah, I actually just had to fix an implant Monday.
Yeah, so, they recognize your skeleton.
Yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, I've had root canals, I have an implant, all the cavities. Not lately, but when I was a kid.
Yeah, oh, sure, me too. I had nasty looking
Did you know why that
silver
people
fillings.
who perform, who sing, who do theater, the more you talk, the more bad stuff can get in there, and so you're actually more cavity prone. I heard that.
I should drink more water.
You should. And brush more. But I heard that somewhere, and so it's always been in the back of my brain that I'm like, okay, I got to be really on top of my oral hygiene.
Well, when I got a TV job, I started using whitening toothpaste and whitening mouthwash.
Does it work?
Yes.
Because I feel like I haven't. Either that or it's because I drink too much black coffee.
Well, I mean, I use this stuff consistently every day for it's been years now, but I notice I believe it works.
Okay.
Especially the mouthwash. I mean, because it's got hydrogen peroxide in there, and if you got you bite your inside of your mouth ever, you get before it turns into a canker sore, the hydrogen peroxide knocks that right down. I'm saying it's good.
Right.
Well, anyway, let's wrap it up with a couple of things. First of all, we do want you to check out our merch store.
Yes.
It is at frankandfriendsshow.com. Pardon me, I'll just list to the side.
Yes, we've got the mugs.
Get the towel. Let's unfurl the towel.
They're good, sturdy mugs.
They are good mugs. You can get them in different colors. I like this one because it's consistent all the way around.
It also makes the logo pop.
Yeah, the other colors, it's like really a white mug where they just wrap it around most of the way.
Oh, okay, so it looks like a band.
There's a strap, but this one I liked it because it was,
solid.
Yeah. And the towel, I think they did a fine job on the towel.
And it's coming up to, beach and pool and lake season.
Oh, yeah, you have to bring the kids over.
And just humid season.
You can bring the kids over for a pool day sometime.
Yes, oh my gosh, they would love that. They are obsessed with water. So... They are. We actually bought season passes to Smoky Mountain Water Park because they could not get enough of water slides.
That's a fun place. Did you ever see Bing Fu in the ads?
I did. I actually made a crack to him that the reason we bought our season passes is solely based on his billboard.
A local actor named Bing Fu, who's been on the show Outer Banks, did post before it even opened. I think he went.
Yeah, I think it was the original billboard.
Yeah, it's only been open 2-3 years.
Yeah.
This is maybe its third.
Three or four, actually.
Oh, that long?
Yeah.
I was thinking this is only the third season, but maybe it's the fourth. But before it opened, they went, and the park is closed, obviously, to the public, and they photographed him and some other actors as a family.
Yeah.
And they still use him.
Yeah. Well, it's a great poster. I think you can see it on I-40 right now.
Yeah, he's on the billboards. It's all over the place. So we've got the merch, and... I don't know how I got on the Bing Fu jag, except, Smoky Mountain Water Park.
And you invited my kids to swim, and
I've got towels.
Anyway.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it all flows together.
If any of this makes sense to you, you might also enjoy the fabulous entertainment from Audible when you go to audibletrial.com/FrankandFriendsShow. Get a free 30-day premium membership, and that's fancy.
It is fancy.
Because you get a credit. Premium members get a credit every month for an MP3 download. Now, granted, you can stream stuff without downloading it. That's one of the beauties.
That's one of the perks of the premium membership.
But if you want to keep something, and there's advantages to that because, it's like on certain streaming services, shows might eventually go away, but if you've downloaded your copy of it.
Yeah. It's like you have the paper copy, but you don't have to actually read.
Yeah.
And it's great for car trips. That's what because I actually used your link to download my premium membership.
Appreciate that.
Towards the end of last year when we were driving to Texas for Christmas, which is a ridiculously long journey. And I had a couple books downloaded, and it helped keep me awake. In fact, I made it, I think, 10 hours straight before I was like, maybe it's 4 a.m. and I should pull over and let my husband.
But I want to see what happens in this chapter.
I was so into the book. But anyways, I digress. So it's really good. You should get the membership. Great.
All right. Well, that's audibletrial.com/FrankandFriendsShow. I almost slipped into Jiminy Glick right there. And I darn you, Bean, for playing the most hilarious Jiminy Glick drop I've ever heard on your podcast. But you've got Jiminy Glick in my head, and I need to get Jiminy Glick out of my head.
Or Bean maybe just shared the clip and we can drop it in.
Well, no, I need to get him out of my head because I'm about to record 6 episodes of the Up Close show. And I have asked, I don't do it in the Jiminy Glick voice, but I'll sometimes ask, like Aaron Demergen, I asked him some question that was a total Jiminy Glick question.
Okay, so what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to drop in the comments a link to a Jiminy Glick clip on YouTube.
Okay.
So that you know who we're talking about.
He's Martin Short in character as a movie critic / celebrity interviewer. Anyway, and if it's in your head,
we're digressing again.
Poison.
We're digressing.
All right. So thanks so much for watching, sharing, liking, and letting Becca get off to work on time, practically. This is the Frank and Friends Show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Becca James.
And we'll talk to you again next time. You are coming back, right? There's a next time, right? Oh, dang.